I am moving to Hidden Valley. So that's the plan. I am moving there after I leave Ruth's apartment. Hopefully, I can get a job by April. And then May, I'm there and I'm going to be 4 minutes away from Brandon. Okay. And then we can run into each other and bring this whole thing together. That's what I believed was the plan. Also, February 20th, that was the day I had my ultrasound. That was also the day that the clinic called for me to come in and pick up my meds. So they ended up telling me I was positive for H. pylori. Yeah, so H. pylori is a bacteria infection. And they put me on meds. I had to take antibiotics, Pepto Bismol, it was just different medications. I had to take it 3 times a day, y'all. 3 times a day within 10 days. And I think it had to be I think it was every 6 hours I had to take it. Every 6 to 7 hours I had to take the medication, y'all. Yeah, I was like, whew, it's a lot, but whatever I have to do to get this bacteria out of my system. So I went to get the medication. It was free. The only thing they were missing was Pepto Bismol, so I ended up buying it from the grocery store. And so yeah, I was on medications from February 20 up until the beginning of March. February 27. At this time, y'all, I'm ecstatic about the revelation I got about Hidden Valley. But at the same time, I'm like, yo, I need to be certain this is what God is doing. I don't want to put these pieces together and it's like my doing. I want it to be God's doing. So I remember just praying about it, like, God, send confirmation that Hidden Valley is where you want me to be, even though deep down in my spirit, I believe Hidden Valley was where God wanted me to be. And I want to say this too. One of the ways you do know when God is leading you somewhere, one of the ways, just one, God will put that desire for that thing in your heart. I remember when I visited Hidden Valley back in 2019, yo, I was gushing about the place. I'm like, this place is so beautiful, so beautiful. So I would wish to live here, but I was like, I don't want to drive a U-Haul truck. I don't want to move. I'm content with my place. I didn't realize that God was placing the desire of Hidden Valley in my heart at that time. So when the time came for it to be revealed to me that this is where He wants me to be, I'm not wrestling with God. I'm not going back and forth to Him. I'm not like, oh, no, God, no. I'm going to surrender because that desire was already placed in me, in my heart by God. So that was one of the ways you know that God is leading you somewhere. He's going to put that desire for that thing or that person too. Even with Brandon too, I would say that as well. The desire to want Brandon to be my husband, God put that desire in me. God already placed that in me, and that yeah. So yeah, that's one of the ways you know that God is leading you into something. So February 27, I'm like, yo, Lord, I know in my gut that Hidden Valley is a place, but I just want confirmation. I'm always asking God for confirmation. I go out, I go to the store. Now, mind you, I'm at the store and like things are just running out. Sanitizers are running out. Lysol bottle sprays are running out. Hand wipes are running out. Now, mind you, they already were talking about the vid at this point, but I mean, I still was thinking that life was just gonna go on. Things were just running out, so I was like, you know what? I need to get sanitizers, even though I already had some. But I remember thinking to myself, like, for people to panic buy Lysol, Clorox, like you guys don't already have it in your house. Like y'all don't clean your house. That's what I'm thinking in my head. Like y'all really don't clean your house. That's why you're trying to buy up all the disinfectants in the stores. So I was like, you know what? Let me see what I can get. I already had hand sanitizers because I just carry it on a regular basis. But I'm like, the way things are just running out, let me just get some stuff for me and for Ruth as well. So I'm at CVS. y'all. After going to a couple of stores, I'm at CVS and I see some hand wipes and I take it. I take it and I'm at the register. I'm at this register. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. And as I'm waiting, something just told me to look at the um like the system box that's connected to the register. I see London. Now, what I forgot to do when I mentioned my dreams about London, I forgot to tell you the actual dream. I had a dream, y'all, that I was at a store and I wanted to buy certain things. And on the screen of the register, all I saw was London, London, London symbols. That was all I was seeing. So for a couple of days after, a week after, for that to happen again, I felt like that was God's way of letting me know, like, listen, I'm taking you to London. Like, don't worry. Because at this time I had already got rejected from them twice. Like, listen, I'm taking you to London. Don't worry. Just be patient. I'm reassuring you, I am taking you to London. Okay. So I thought that was very interesting, and I was really grateful I had that dream because it just brought that reassurance that God was taking me to London. It also brought some type of reassurance that Hidden Valley too was also the place that God was taking me to as well. So yeah, on this day as well, it was Lent, so I was going to observe Lent and stay away from social media. This was also the day I went to my orthodontist appointment to get my braces tightened. And at this point, I was low key afraid to go there because I hadn't been making payments for like probably a couple of months. I want to say last time I made a payment was like October, maybe October or November 2019. So I had owed them money. And I think my payment every month was like 180 or so, like 180, yeah. So I had like racked up bills with that. So I get my braces tightened. As I'm leaving, the receptionist says, "Yeah, Adriel, we're trying to process your card. It's not going through." I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'll make a payment online." Blah blah blah. She's like, "Okay." I was like, "Oh my goodness, yo!" And then later on, that was when I went to the stores and did all of that. So yeah, that was what happened on February 27th. February 28th, Ruth started her spring break. February 29th, this was the day I was crying my eyes out, y'all. I was crying my eyes out, just crying about my situation of how I was still broke and unemployed, and I'm living in my friend's apartment. Um, yeah, I was just really crying. And not only that, while I was crying, I remember just telling myself, and I remember the week before that too, man, traumatic situations could really get to you and make you make choices out of trauma. I remember telling myself that when I get a job, I'm not going to spend any money. I was like, I'm not going to spend any money. I'm going to use the money to pay for my bills, get gas, get my groceries. I'm never going to spend money on just like clothes or just eating out or never. And the reason why I had developed that mindset was at that point, I had financial trauma. I couldn't pay for stuff. I couldn't pay for my rent. I couldn't pay to move out. I couldn't pay my credit card bills. I couldn't pay my orthodontist bills. I had developed so much financial trauma that I was low key stepping into a place of a scarcity mindset, meaning that whatever money I had to hold tight to it, y'all, because I didn't know when next I was going to have money. And I never ever lived life like that. I've always had enough. I wouldn't say I was always balling, but I always had what I needed. I always had some type of money to do what I needed to do. That season of my life, I didn't have it. And it was just very, man, it was a lot for me. It was a lot. I said, yeah, whatever job I have, I'm not going to spend money on nothing besides my bills and what I need to spend money on. So I just was crying my eyes out, crying my eyes out. And yeah. Yeah, that was kind of emotional for me because yeah. So that was pretty much what happened in the month of February. Yeah, I moved out of Douglas, moved in with Ruth. Um, found out I wasn't dealing with acid reflux. I was dealing with an infection called H. pylori infection. I was on my medication, and things got better. To be honest, y'all, things got better with the medication. I remember before I would take. I remember before when I had the infection without taking the medication, like eating something remotely spicy would take me to the bathroom. Like it was just, ugh, just feeling bloated, just feeling, whatever. But the medication really did help. Um, what else again? Got the revelation that God wanted me to move to Hidden Valley. Now, here's the thing: I didn't know the time. I had my time that I wanted to move, but I didn't know the time, the actual timing of God. So yeah, that was what happened in the month of February. Yeah, that was what happened. So in the month of March, ooh, y'all, March is this is when things get real as far as branding goes. Now remember, I said I wasn't gonna check on him. Like I'm good. He's in safe hands. He's with God. But March, what I found out, y'all, so yeah, next episode I want to talk about the month of March and everything else I went through. So if you are liking this story, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.